actually follow the SOPs anymore. There is no hand washing facility. People are not putting on face masks. You know, people just shake hands freely. I liked it back then where shaking hand was a taboo, okay? You wouldn't be allowed to shake hand with somebody because you could be an agent of COVID, spreading COVID. And so with that, it actually came down. But how it is going to be going forward, I do not know. But we keep hoping and praying for the best that people should be able to observe the SOPs so that we do not go into another lockdown altogether. But a number of people keep thinking that, well, we may enter into another lockdown. But in my view, this shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't go into another lockdown because you know what lockdown did. And we also know the economy is biting. Yeah, the economic situation is so hard. With that, we cannot go into another lockdown. The little time we have, we keep looking for money so that we can be able to cater for the necessities that we are missing in life. You know, prices have gone so high and things are not easy anyway. And so for me, I think that should be the focus. But most importantly, as we focus on looking for money, or as we focus on a number of these issues, it comes down to us as the community members to be able to put an end to COVID-19 situation in the country. I do know that we have to learn to live with it, but at the same time, we should be able to observe the SOPs, yeah, be very vigilant. Yesterday, I was in Yumbe district where we were celebrating the belated World Environment Day. A number of issues came through, yeah. But I looked through. It was only the manager for DCA, yes, who had put on, Finchurch Aid, who had put on face mask. And I think the guest of honor, who also doubled as the deputy RDC for Yumbe district, had my mask on. I think around 3 people in the whole gathering, over 100 people, yeah, only 3 had face mask on. And so that clearly indicates that there's a problem already. Because there's a problem, we may end up, you know, spreading this kind of COVID. I do know that people got vaccinated. Personally, I got vaccinated with J&J. And so I don't know why new infections keep coming through. They keep saying there's a new variant. What kind of variant is this? Is this another COVID altogether? I mean, COVID seemed to be very tricky this time around. Yeah. But a number of people are saying, hey, COVID. The other time the president was saying they ate what? They ate monkeys? Because there are people eating monkeys. And that's why we have COVID. That's what the president was saying. But I think we shouldn't continue blaming these animals. In my view, yeah, we keep blaming these animals and stuff. When Ebola came through, we were blaming the monkeys. You know, now COVID, I think we find it easier to blame, you know, these monkeys. Just that easy. But for me, I think I have a different theory altogether. Issues to do with the virus. Sometimes virus is man-made. That's my view. Because look at how computer virus is. It is created by somebody who also creates the antidote of that computer virus in order to make money. So COVID could be one other money-making venture for somebody somewhere. Yeah. If you look at how people have been handling COVID, even here in Uganda, by the way, you do remember the COVID fund that the Musenero, this lady, Dr. Musenero, who was insulted by some MP, and the MP got into a hot soup for the mismanagement of the COVID fund. Yeah. You do remember that. And so for me, I think there's a lot of business sense in COVID, yeah? These days, it could also be another biological weapon that has been put out, but people do not want to look at that because the scientific fact has been hidden, and also there's no scientific fact that we got the COVID from monkeys. For me, I don't want to believe in that kind of theory, yeah? I don't want. Otherwise, COVID would have started probably from Congo or even around Buindi, impenetrable, game reserve, because that's where a lot of these mammals do exist. The world's largest population of mammals exists in the Buindi and probably in the Congo. And so for me, I think somewhere it should probably have existed from India. India has a very great number of monkeys, by the way. Urban monkeys that stay in town. not village monkeys. So for me, if it had started from around there, it would have been much, much easier, yeah? Because a number of those monkeys come through, they grab edibles from your hand and take off with them and stuff like that. But I think by far and large, we cannot be, talking about who caused it, what caused it and stuff. We should be able to talk about now the precautionary measures that we need to put in place in order to put an end to the COVID-19 situation in this country. And basically, for me, that is what I think, that is where it has to be, okay? We keep observing the SOPs, we keep monitoring the situation so that at the end of the day, we can be able to keep our lives safe, okay? Now, there is a situation, maybe it is caused by the economic hardship that everyone is facing. As we talk, a liter of fuel now is more than 5,000. In other petrol stations in Arua, it is 6,000, yeah? With the exception of Shell, that gives the fuel at 5,770. Total, 5,950. But the rest, 6,200, 6,300. Okay? The rest of the petrol stations in Arua. That is basically the example that I'm giving here. But if you look at a bar of soap, yeah, the cheapest can be 5,000, can be 6,000. I was in Yumbe trying to find out how much a bar of soap is. At a certain point, it's 7,000, yeah? I asked them, why? Why 8,000? Okay? Because in Arua, I think it is 5,000. Yes, it is 5,000, 6,000. It's 6,000. But the other side is 7,000, 8,000. They told me they buy these things from Arua, and then they take them to Yumbe. So when they take them to Yumbe, the fuel price, the price for export, I mean, for transporting these, goods also goes high. So it in turn affects the goods that they take, especially the soap that I'm talking about here, okay? Now, this brings us to the aspect of suicide. A lot of people are committing suicide in the country, especially a situation where the police in Chireka actually saved a man who attempted to commit suicide yesterday. And so this is one other situation that is occurring, and also in the universities, a number of students keep committing suicide. If you can remember, there was a Ugandan university student who actually jumped to her death from, 5 stairs above, yeah, from a gorofa, yeah, 5 stairs above, and jumped to her death. You do remember that. And at a certain point, if you can remember, there was a point where students would climb the NSSF building and jump off from there. One could be because of economic hardship that, that they face. And also at a certain point, especially for the students, you realize that it is because of, love gone bad. There was a situation, I was talking to one of the registrars of one of the universities, yeah, university branches here in Arua. He was telling me there's a student that the student actually had wanted to leave school because he was jilted by the lover. Then at the end of the day, he brought this guy and the guy said, my life is over, I cannot continue anymore, it's better for me to, he was contemplating on suicide, yeah. So he talked to this guy. After talking to him for quite some time, then he had to graduate, and yet he was left with just a semester. Yeah, he had to finish, then he graduated. Just last week, the guy got a job. And then the guy was calling him that, hey, registrar, I got a job. And he told him, you see, if you had dropped out because of that funny girlfriend, what would have happened and stuff like that. And the girl is somewhere, not even doing well. And so, for me, a number of these issues keep occurring, especially on the school compound. But what does this mean? Does it mean that we have to be able to inculcate aspect of counseling in every, teacher, in every lecturer? There should be a serious counselor on a school compound, yeah? And you do remember the research that says about 14 million Ugandans are mentally sick. 14 million, which is quite more than half of the population of mature Ugandans, which is more than half of it. Because if you look at the population now, majority of Ugandans are below the age of 35. Yeah, 75% of Ugandans are below the age of 35. And if you look at 75% of 41 million, where does it fall? Yeah, somewhere. And also now, if you divide that by, you know, by half probably, yeah, which is about 14 million, it means more than half of the population of Uganda is actually mad. And so this could be one of the reasons as to why there's a number of suicide attempts happening in our communities, happening in the country, where you hear that this and that has happened and stuff like that. And so, but for me, I think if you move on the road, you realize queer behaviors, queer characters from certain people. It could be they are one of the 14 million Ugandans that we are talking about here, which eventually causes the aspect of suicide and stuff in our communities. When you see that somebody is portraying a sign of suicide, you should be able to come through to help appropriately. Because absent of that, before you know it, you'll have a dead brother, a dead sister somewhere, and then that can be able to cause a lot of, you know, more pain in the society. Okay, now there's a new policy that is coming through, yeah, about especially the electricity thieves, those who steal electricity. They are supposed to be fined 1 billion Ugandan shillings, and you have to be jailed. That is according to the government. Now, among the penalties contained in the Electricity Amendment Act, we are looking at the Electricity Amendment Act 2022, is that the prescription to jail all persons found guilty of stealing electricity or destroying its infrastructure for 15 years, or they pay shillings 1 billion fine, or they face both. This is the situation here. It is contained in the Electricity, Amendment Act of 2022. If this comes to being, a number of people can face a lot of these, penalties. Even here in Arua, yeah, a number of electricity thefts keep happening. People, have illegal connections. Those are basically what I am talking about here. Those illegal connections that keep happening. So one is supposed to face 1 billion, a fine of 1 billion, pay a fine of 1 billion Ugandan shillings, or you face 15 years in jail. Is it really feasible? Look, compare the two. 15 years or 1 billion. Let's take a break. We'll be coming right back.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Chinayuchinyumira. Whether it is Katogo, Chikomando, Rolex Majasa to Nyanyambisi. Man, wherever I am, I enjoy Chinayu with your TV channels on my phone.
Enjoy a new world of entertainment with over 80 TV and radio channels, plus movies from wherever you are. Download the Yo TV Channels app from your app store and enjoy 30 days of free streaming with MTN.
Yo TV Channels, the power is in your hands. That is the sound of Star Times. Easter 2 billion sharing an upgrade. Yes! Free upgrade for both weekly and monthly subscriber. 2 billion shillings worth of subscription, school fees and Easter hampers for sharing. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and get upgrade to the next bouquet automatically. Amazing content this Easter season will bring a smile to every member of your family. Family telenovela such as The Brothers Season 2, entertaining and educative kids channels, and endless football live from the best leagues around the world. Enjoy the most affordable Easter entertainment on Star Times.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. It is Kokoliriko live on West Nile TV. My name is Opingopi Yusuf Andabati. And this morning, the number of stories that I want to bring up to speed to, you so that you can be able to understand what is transpiring in other parts of the country. You do know that the lawyer Malema Breezy, who has been in jail for more than 100 days, actually had applied for bail, to be temporary bail, to be released from jail. You can remember Malema Breezy had a lot of issues here and there. Now, let's look at some of the issues that transpired yesterday. You do know the budget reading was yesterday, want to look at some of the allocations in a number of these areas. If you can remember, the budget that we have as a country is more than around 48.130 trillion, yes, around 40 plus trillion Ugandan shillings, okay? Now, this means that there is actually a lot that needs to be done, as far as this budget is concerned. One other aspect that needs to come at the forefront is the aspect of fighting corruption. Can the aspect of fighting corruption be handled as far as this budget is concerned? Looking at this budget now, let's look at this specifically. You realize that agricultural production, when agricultural production has taken 1.148 trillion Ugandan shillings, which is roughly around 1.1 trillion Ugandan shillings for this is allocation for agriculture. 625 billion for climate change and environmental degradation, especially like yesterday when we went to Yumbe, there was a lot of fight for environment, for the conservation of environment, and so part of this money should be able to go into such activities. Okay, now there's the aspect of 1.419 trillion, which is for promoting agro industrialization, okay, standards and market entry. There is also 194 billion tourism. This is money meant for tourism, money meant for a number of other aspects and stuff like that, because we do know there is a lot of potential for tourism in this country, and especially if you come to northern Uganda, there are a lot of tour sites that we have in northern Uganda. Now, there is the commercialization of oil and gas, which has taken 904 billion, 3.7 trillion for health, 1 trillion for water, 4 for education. Okay, now let's take a brief break. We'll be coming right back to be able to analyze more of these aspects of our budget in a short while. Okay, let's take a brief break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
He must be rich, tall, handsome, from a respectable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
Why? Obadde olobye ku ssimu?
Yamunange, anti yo TV enkolera.
Enjoy a new world of entertainment with over 80 TV and radio channels, plus movies from wherever you are. Download the Yo TV Channels app from your app store and enjoy 30 days of free streaming with MTN.
Yo TV Channels, the power is in your hands.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. It is Kokoliriko live on West Nile TV. My name is Opingopi Yusuf Andabati. Before we went for a break, we were talking about the budget, the financial year 2022/3 budget year, and was at the verge of telling you about water allocation for water, which is around 1 trillion, for education is around 4 trillion, and also the 274 billion Ugandan shillings for science and innovation. Are these enough in your view? Can this be able to spur the development that we want to achieve? And a greater percentage of this budget is towards the debt payment. And also you do know that we owe Congo some money that we're supposed to pay, okay? So if you look at the whole issue of our budget, this budget that we have here cannot be, cannot create effective development, especially for the people, for the local population. It cannot, because, look here, there's the aspect of the parish development model that we keep talking about here. But if you look at this budget, financing the budget alone is still another issue. Where do we get the money to finance this budget? Yes, we're going to be paying taxes, yeah? URA is going to be collecting money from people. But there's the aspect of debt. A greater percentage of this money is going to go to debt payment, okay? So we'll still keep borrowing money to construct roads, borrowing money to do a number of these, parish development model, stuff like that. And so for me, I think there is more that needs to be done. A number of these monies find their ways into people's pockets. Now, there is the aspect of fighting for corruption. There's this peace and security, which takes around 3.9 trillion Ugandan shillings, okay, which is towards 4 trillion Ugandan shillings, which of course also there is the aspect of anti-corruption, the fight against corruption, 381 for judiciary billion, yeah, Directorate of Public Prosecution, 94, and also 876 Uganda Police, 308 Uganda Prison Services, 97 billion for the IGG, the Betty Kamia group there. And so basically these are some of the highlights in the budget that was read yesterday, and I pray that this budget, you should be able to have an understanding of what this budget is like, what it entails and stuff like that, okay? Now, that will do it for Kokoliriko show this morning. It comes to an end, and I do hope that you can have the best of your morning. Hope to catch you again tomorrow on the same TV station. It's West Nile TV. We're lighting the region. I'm out of here. God bless you.